guys, Jill here. Welcome to the first card in my Christmas card making series for 2016. What I've decided, and I mentioned before, is that each week I'm going to make a different Christmas card so that at the end of the year I will have several different Christmas cards because what I had done in the past was I did cards throughout the year so that when Christmas approached, I had several cards done. And, it didn't surprise me. So this year, I'm going to do different cards because I have several different stamps. Now, you're going to see the appearance of these stamps over and over, but this year I bought many, many stamps over different clearance, mostly at Michael's. So, the first one we're going to see is these little guys, and this is from Stampendous, and it was Snowy Sled P234. So, this stamp I got for $3, so you can't beat that. I'm sure that it went further down, but it was long gone from the Michaels that I've had. Okay, so I've pre-done the card, and I set up to do a few more. And what some of the point was for this, sorry, my voice is all over the place. My throat's really bothering me. Sorry. I'm going to try to do a voiceover on this. We'll see. Okay, so one of the things I'm trying to do is use up scraps. So I had a whole bunch of scraps left over from the cards that I did, and these aren't that long. I used the 6x6 paper pads. I had 2 of them, and so I used the Winter Frost pad as well as the Crystal Frost pad. Both of these again from Michaels, the Recollections as well as the Craftsmith. And so I used all of what were scraps from this, and I just put those on some card bases I had made, and then where the main joint is, I used some baker's twine. And this baker's twine I got at Target, and I got a few of them for I believe it was 20 cents because it was 80% off. And so it was only 10 yards, but hey, I did the double wrap of it, and then I tied a bow. And so that was the base. So just a bunch of scraps. Then I took some brads out of my collection, and I cut the little brad legs off of them. This one, the white ones, I added some glamour dust to, and this has been in my collection also. And I also used my Spellbinders holiday set, and this is holiday greetings on it, but when I ordered it, it said Snowflake Bliss. I used this Christmas and Winter DCWV stack. It came with a whole bunch of glitter paper, and I cut out 2 of the snowflakes, this one twice. And but you can find all kinds of different glitter stacks out there. So I cut those out. And so let me put the card base over here. And so that's all ready. And again, just trying to use up some stuff. And I just, then I used the Winter Greetings from this stamp set right here. And I stamped it on another little scrap. And I used the Onyx Black from, VersaFine. I love how thin this will stamp, and then I embossed it with a clear detail embossing powder. And then I outlined that with my favorite silver marker, which is the Pilot Silver Marker Medium Point. And I also outlined the entire card that way. And that was a car door shutting really loudly right outside my window. Okay, so there's that piece. And then here's my snowmen. I stamped those with VersaFine onto my Strathmore 140-pound cardstock watercolor paper, and I used my Misty tool. I actually stamped it twice because it didn't stamp quite right through here, so I stamped it twice, and then I cut it out with my detail scissors, and then I used this little brush with the Glamour Dust again, and I applied it to the two hats and all 4 gloves, and I just dabbed that on. So that leaves us with this image ready to color, and I colored the image using my Inktense pencils. And what I do is I laid out my color chart. I just downloaded this, and I colored in each block, and I colored it intense because of the name of the pencils. Geez, I'm having a hard time with words today. Anyway, I did the full intensity of them, and then what you'll be able to see is I got very light colors on each of them, and that's just the way I chose to do it. Like here's chili red, and I got a nice light pale from that color. So I have those set out, and let's go ahead and move those aside because we don't need the whole tin out, and zoom in and go ahead and start watercoloring. Yeah, my hands are huge, huh? Okay, so let's Okay, so now you're going to come in with green aquamarine, and you're going to start coloring onto the faces. Now what I'm doing there is getting the flow of the water brush. You're going to pull out the color by wiping off the excess as you go, and you want to pull it out pretty far at this point. And you're going to also color the legs and the snow. Now you're going to use a very light touch because as you can barely see the color that I'm adding onto the watercolor paper, it has quite a thick tooth. And also notice that when it's wet and I add in any color, it goes on darker. Now I'm going to leave each of these layers to dry, and when I do that, it's going to make it so that those layers are permanent, because that is one of the nicest features of the Inktense pencils. Now I'm going to come in on the hat. I'm going to add more color. I'm not going to add it thicker, I'm just adding more of it, and that's because I want more intense color with the green aquamarine pencil. And so now I'm going to come in with the bright blue, and this we're going to add to both jackets. Now the front jacket, I'm going to add it lighter because I am going to come back and actually add that green aquamarine over top of it, but the back jacket is going to be all bright blue. And so see how bright that becomes when I use the water brush to blend that out. Now I'm going to use the chili red for a lot of the accents here, such as the hat and a lot of the middle sweater. Now here my pencil broke, so I'm using the water to kind of erase what I can of where the pencil got onto the snowman's face, as well as the white part of the jacket. So I want to make the scarf itself look like it has dimension to it. So I'm just adding the color to the outside and pulling that towards the middle so that it's lighter. And so this one's going to require a little bit more time and a few more layers, as you can see. Sorry about the angle of my hand. So I'm going to come in on a lot of that and leave a lot of different layers. And so the middle jacket, again, this one's a lot of that chili pepper. And I kind of, at this point, as you'll see, I just go back and forth. I don't really have, per se, a pattern that I'm following. I'm just going based on what seems to be dry. And so I'm going back and forth on each of the areas so that everything is not touching, because it would be terrible if I went into a blue area that was next to a wet area of red. I mean, obviously. So I do more of a dabbing motion towards the top layers to make it look a little bit more watercolory. And the thing with these Inktense pencils is this is my first full project that I've done with them. I've been watching a lot of people, particularly Jen, who's My Blue Bike, and Julie Altman, and I have been watching what they do with the pencils and trying to pick my own style. So I finally decided that I could do an actual project with them, and I guess because I do a lot of watercoloring, it worked out for me. And this is where I'm coming in with the green aquamarine and laying that color over top of the bright blue and kind of making a little different color. Now it's not real obvious in the video, but it is obvious when you look at it. And then the noses themselves, I'll put the color on the screen, as well as with the hat. I just know the hat was the black that comes in the color, and that is ink black, and the nose was tangerine. And but what I ran into on this front area, as well as on the sled, and the sled is oak, is on that front jacket and the sled, which I stopped intensifying the color on this particular sled because the paper itself started running and veining, and you can see it in the bottom of the front snowman's jacket, and it started doing it with the sled also. And I decided, instead of intensifying it, that I should just stop with the coloring. So that's what I ended up doing, because I found that it was just making it worse. So really soon here, it just starts veining some more. And you can see that right about here. And that's because of the paper. It has nothing to do with the pencils. It's all about the paper. So I'm going to come in with my heat tool, and see, that's where I tried to pick some of the color up like I normally do with water, and it's not picking up. Shh. Gizmo's all excited. You can hear him panting in the background. Sorry about that. So see, here's where I tried to heat set it. Hopefully stop that. It doesn't work. So I'm going to finish up here with the sled. And so as always, thank you very much for watching my videos. I hope you like this new format. If you do, please, I'd really appreciate it if you give me a thumbs up. And thanks for stopping by, and have a great day.